Hi everyone, this is Himanshu Saxena. I represent COSM, and the purpose of COSM is very simple, is to groom strategic minds and deliver bold business impact. When it comes to building clues for success, the most insightful triggers I find authentic conversation with leaders. And to have one of those conversations today, we have Nitin Jain with us, who's the President and CEO of Global Asset and Wealth Management, Edelweiss Capital. Welcome, Nitin. It's a pleasure
Thank you.
to
Thank you
have
so
you.
much, Himanshu.
Uh, what prompted you to accept this invitation for this conversation? I must thank you for that.
No, I think it's always a pleasure to catch up with you. This is one of those opportunities where I get to spend time with you. And thank you so much for being of so much help for over the period of years to what we have built. So always look forward to these situations.
Thank you. I really feel honored. Uh, to me, the internal stories work the best. If I bring an outside story, which I will bring in any case, but the people who already been there, done there, if their story is told in the right context, I think people resonate well. So my purpose of reaching out to you is to bring the internal story.
Sure.
So I have few questions for this conversation. Feel free to meander, come back, share whatever comes to your mind. One of my first question is, what were your early ambitions and how over the years those ambitions have changed and evolved?
Actually, it's very interesting. Uh, I joined the firm in 2003, late 2003, and I was very desperate to join a trading floor. Somehow I had this feeling that I would be very successful in trading. I had no background. It's just that, at my home, my father used to talk a lot about stocks. So I think which is where my early interest started. But the core objective was very simple,
Like money.
to make a lot of money. Okay.
Yeah.
There was nothing else to it. So I just felt that if I'll be a successful trader, I will be able to drive my own destiny and I can hopefully make tons of money. And yeah, that was the starting point. And when I joined Edelweiss, actually, there's an interesting history. Rashesh asked me, Nitin, what do you want to do? And I said, I just want to be a trader. And there are two things that I don't want for sure.
And what was those?
And he said, what are those? I said, one, I don't want to report to anyone.
Oh, very unique kind
When
of
you're
requirement.
young, you can probably get away saying this. And the second, I don't want anybody to report to me. I was just terrified with the idea of being among so many people, working as a group. I always used to be this loner who wanted to do things on his own. Uh, I just felt far more comfortable if all the levers were in my hand. And maybe that also reflects in my choice of profession, right, as a trader. So, but the dream was to be a very successful trader and eventually to become one of the leading fund managers in the country. It was very simple, straightforward, clarity. But I must tell you that I was very blessed in a way that I've been always mentored by Rashesh and Rujan. And Rashesh somehow, over the period between 2006 to 2008 9, convinced me of something, or I would rather say, brainwashed me
He's
into
Talibanized you.
into believing that making money is not everything, which at that age I thought is bizarre. But the more I chatted with him, I think his idea that we should be part of something which will last beyond us, to build an institution which we can be proud of, really got into my head, and it just became more evident to me that it cannot be only about money. And it also helped that by that time you had done reasonably well and the basic insecurities were taken care of.
Needs are met.
Yeah. But I do believe it was a very important period of my life where this transformation happened. Today, if you see where I am and how I think, I think for me, the dream is to build a truly world class institution, something that we are proud of, something that is respected, not only in India but globally, and something where it is not only about me, where it is about my team, where it is about this team that has built this organization. Uh, I do think that we are in a very good wicket now. We have to execute well, but I think that is not possible.
So this is one of the most bizarre thing I've heard, that I don't want anyone to report me, or I don't want to report to anyone. And I'm just wondering what expressions of people who heard this.
Interestingly, and I'll tell you that if you know Rashesh enough, you'll realize that he's one of the most effective listeners that you will find. And he can actually understand, I feel, the psyche of the other person so well. I don't think there would have been many people who would have taken this in this spirit.
Right spirit, yeah.
And being so different, or he was so much more senior to me, it was very easy for him to, think of me as just somebody who is very arrogant about.
Inconsequential.
But to be honest, it was not. I genuinely believe it was even then never about arrogance. It was just that I felt that I'll work best left alone. And it was never about authority or or being a rebel. It was just that I felt that I work best when I'm alone.
Thank you. And how does this success look like in hindsight when you turn back and see?
So I must put a caveat. I don't see this as an end goal. I don't see where we are is anywhere close to being where we want to be, but we have done reasonably well. So I'm a little skeptical when you say that how successful we have been today. No, we are getting there. We are getting into the right direction. But
This is a more success about you as an individual.
as I said, now I genuinely don't believe in individual successes. For me, if you score 100 and be part of a losing cause, it will never give you a kick. Whereas if you score a 0 and you're part of the World Cup winning team, if you remember, Sachin Tendulkar actually scored 18 runs in the World Cup final.
Yeah.
And I've never seen him happier when they won the World Cup. He was not even the captain of the team.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so it's never about individual success. It's about what you achieve as a team. And I do think that we are getting, as I said, in a position where we can now, hopefully, over a period of time, dominate the financial services industry and be very respected for what we have achieved.
Thank you for bringing that point. I picked up this statement somewhere, and I believe quite a lot. Two things change the course of life: the books that you read and the people that you meet. Did anything resonate, something like that, with you?
So many, which have had so many, and there have been so many people who have made such a big difference to my life that if I were to recount them, it will be very difficult. Books, yeah, I mean, I pick up stuff from a lot of books, but I won't be able to recollect a book which transformed my life. But if I have to give you an instance, I think there are two probably instances in life which are defining. One I would say positive and one I would say negative. One was it's slightly personal, but I'll share.
Sure.
When my father expired, and there was a lot of stress at my place, and there were a lot of legal cases that we had to fight with our uncles, and there are always these, land-related issues that you'll face in the north whenever somebody passes away, and at that time, the amount of property that we were fighting for was so much vis-a-vis my current income I felt that one, it was unfair to what was happening, and second, it was meaningful. I wanted to quit and actually go and fight the legal battle and get into that mess.
Yeah.
Rujan at that time, I would say, was very instrumental. He was the guy who actually helped me understand or explain to me why I should not, why I would be far better off if I were to
Not getting
focus
involved there.
off,
Yeah.
if I were to focus on what we are doing, and if I continue on the path that I am, rather than trying to get into this messy fight, which will eventually, hopefully, settle, but you'll not achieve much. So I think that could have been a big derailment in my life if I had fallen in that trap. So a guiding light, a mentor at that point was so important. And as I said in the beginning, that there have been so many people, and Rujan, I think, was very, very, uh, I would say, even forceful. He felt that he could influence me, and he helped me take that decision, and I think it was so important. The second decision, I would say, was, or the second instance was when a friend of mine actually on. So when I moved from trading to wealth management, I've always been a smart guy. So I thought that I'll ride this entire thing along with a friend who I thought was fantastic in wealth management. And so both of us had come together. Now, most people will not recollect, but I don't want to name the individual. But we had come together. I was supposed to be the strategist, and he was supposed to be the CEO of the business, practically, the guy who would be running the business. And after 6 months, I think he said, "This is not happening," because it was difficult. It was very difficult. We were not able to hire people. People were not willing to come and see us, not meet us, because we had in our previous avatar fired a lot of people, and there was that perception that these guys are either not serious about the business, or they don't understand the business. Plus, these guys are new in the business; they don't know anything about the business, and the markets are very choppy. So when he quit, for me, that moment was disastrous. I genuinely thought the world has come to an end. Now, I don't know what is happening. I have no idea what this business is. I was hoping that I will help him with my understanding of the market, trading, how to make money, client side processes, systems, everything he will build. And there you are. Now you're left on your own. But I don't know. By the end of that day, something had happened to me. And I just made a commitment to myself that I have to get this right, with or without anybody. There is no way I can give up after committing to somebody that I will build this business. And just because somebody is quitting, you feel that,
It can't be one person dependent.
so it cannot be. And for me, I think I still get goosebumps about that day, and very difficult to explain. But I was completely broken. But by the end of the day, I was back, and I was really back. And I think those are the two instances, I must say, which have made a big difference.
So, with success comes the adulation, the flattery around us. And for 2.5 years, I have had the opportunity to work with Edelweiss. 2, 3 things which I often hear about is that Nitin is extremely down to earth. He is very modest, unassuming. How did you handle that?
I think it's a difficult question to answer because you sit in your own judgment. But to be very frank with you, it's not that I don't get those bouts of or those feelings sometimes that I feel overconfident or be. I mean, I also enjoy a little bit of
Hmm.
all of this. But what I probably remind myself
Hmm.
is that throughout my life, I have met so many more competent people than me who have not been lucky enough to get to where I am or
Hmm.
places better than where I am just because of circumstances. I remind myself of the people
Hmm.
who have contributed to what I have become today. So it's not only me who has helped me
Hmm.
become who I am today. I mean, I think I would have been a nobody if not
Hmm.
for their help. I just narrated you the story of Rujan, there is Rashesh, there is Deepak. There's so many people today where we are in wealth. I think it's largely because of what Anshu, Alok, Riaz, so many people have contributed, Rahul.
Hmm.
And so it's not only because of me. So
Hmm.
that is one. And I also get reminded of the fact that we have such a long way to go before we can start to even
Hmm.
really enjoy what we have achieved. Maybe that partially would answer this.
Yeah, the mind chatter that creeps in, it's about how do we silence that? Because if we start telling this story to ourselves, then we are blinded to what's happening around us. I think that you seem to have done very well. Uh, One of the questions that is in my mind is sometimes we need to let go what's coming in our way to find our next benchmark of success. So, from your story, what are those two or three conscious things that you had to let go?
So I would say that was obviously the biggest.
Hmm.
That from a point where I always believed that if all the vectors are in my control,
Hmm.
I would be the my delivery would be the best.
Hmm.
Meaning that as long as I can operate as a silo,
Hmm.
I will deliver. The minute
Hmm.
I have to deal with multiple stakeholders,
Hmm.
I get confused, things become more complex, and efficiency goes down.
Hmm.
This was the core belief. It had started to change, but I think it really got transformed once I came into
Hmm.
the wealth and asset management business. Because here you can't do it in the first place.
Hmm.
You just don't have control on things.
Hmm.
And you are dependent on that last salesperson who's on the field and working much, much harder than what you are.
Hmm.
And you have no control. Just that idea itself is bizarre that how can I not control how that person
Hmm.
delivers
Yeah.
what we have to deliver? But what I've seen is if you have enough trust in others and in their capability, more often than not, they will deliver better than you. And which for
Hmm.
me was a revelation. And I think this change of style
Hmm.
from being very, very guarded and let me use the word being a micromanager
Yeah.
to being somebody
Hmm.
who has a lot more confidence in others and their ability to deliver,
Hmm.
I think has been a major shift, I think, for me as a business leader.
Okay. In one of my conversations with you, I picked up three words. I had asked the question, how do you work with the team which is smarter than you? And you mentioned three words: freedom, credit, clarity. I would like you to elaborate on that.
I think they're reasonably
Hmm.
uh, self explanatory, but maybe I can highlight.
Especially in the context here.
Yeah. So I think whenever we work as a team, one of the
Hmm.
things that everybody grapples with is what roles all of us have to play.
Yeah.
So if you want everybody to be an all-rounder in the team, it doesn't work. I have never seen a cricket team which has 11 all-rounders,
Yeah.
right? You have to be very specific in your expectations. There can be variations, it can change over a period of time, but at any point of time, this clarity that I am an opening batsman and this is what I'm supposed to do is important for him to deliver at his best. So I value clarity a lot, and clarity sometimes is not necessarily as much at your level, but I think the more you discuss, the more you talk, it emerges. But you have to make an attempt to make life simpler for people. Second, I think if it is clear that this is somebody's role, then you give him the freedom to express himself.
Operate with full freedom within the
Yes,
bounds.
you cannot tell your opener, the first over you should play like this, second over you should play like this, third over, oh, this is the bowler, he will outswing and you should be careful. All this at this level is useless. Instead of that, you just go and open. If you want to tell your opener how to bat, then I think you
You
have the wrong
had the wrong
opener.
opener. Yeah.
So you have to then let him be who he is and in fact support him. So I think that is the freedom to express yourself. And third is, I think people, all of us, including me, long for recognition, not so much rewards. And one of the traps that a lot of, I think, leaders fall into is this belief that a lot of this is happening because of me. There's no statistical evidence. I have seen in Edelweiss things just keep on happening. So many good people have gone. So we are all playing a role. But there are so many people who are creating those opportunities, and you have to give credit to those people. In fact, it is free. You don't even have to do anything. You don't have to. So I think recognizing people for what they've achieved is a very big deal.
See, you are growing tremendously. You are hiring people from different organizations, different walks of life. Many of these people are already successful. When successful people come together, what challenge do you visualize, and what's your best advice to deal with that?
So I would go back to the framework that I said. I think having successful people, ambitious people together is a great asset. But it can quickly become a very messy situation if there is not enough clarity in terms of who's supposed to do what, if there is not adequate amount of leadership in the team. So you have to have strong leadership. You have to have a purpose.
Yeah.
What is this group supposed to achieve over a period of time? So earlier I was talking about clarity to that person, but I'm saying at the core, why has this group come together?
Together, yeah.
Is it just a group of mercenaries, or is there a bigger purpose? If there is a bigger purpose, it will bind them.
Yeah.
And binding is interesting because you also need connecting tissues. So a lot of people, when you think about an organization, think about it as a body.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have a hand, you have an arm, you have a leg, you have a head, you have a heart. But then there is a connecting tissue. So what is that connecting tissue in the organization? What is that culture? What is it that binds the team together? What is the purpose that binds the team together? So that for me is very important. Second is specific individuals have to have specific roles and responsibilities. And then they have to have the freedom to express themselves. If they feel independent, if they feel that they can do it in their way, more often than not, the job will get done.
See, when it comes to beliefs, behaviors, and process, see, in your case, what beliefs, behaviors, and process have got you this far?
Again, I think Himanshu, it's a uh, thank you so much for saying what you're saying. But I think we have a long way to go. Uh,
This can become a bit of teachable point of view for others. They can pick up something.
I think
Hmm.
I'll struggle to put it in this format,
Okay.
but let me share with you what I think has helped me get to where I
Yeah.
am. I think it is one, this constant belief that human potential is infinite.
Hmm.
I just feel that all of us
Hmm.
can achieve anything if we apply ourselves to it, if we are adequately passionate about it.
Hmm.
Skills can be developed. It's a matter of time. I just never
Hmm.
feel that this is something that any of us can't do. And it's not only about me. I feel the same about my people. I don't give up on them. I just can't give up on people. I feel that I have to get them to do well. It is my responsibility because it is not about
Hmm.
capability. As I said, I don't believe that that's a limitation.
Hmm.
Then, if the person is not able to deliver, sometimes I feel maybe something is wrong in the way we are providing the
Ecosystem.
ecosystem to them.
Yeah.
And this has been my
Hmm.
partial, I would say, own mantra, if I can call it, which has helped me build teams.
What about habits which come handy on a daily basis?
I'll tell you the habits which are not, which are terrible, which I
Okay.
have to fix. Okay,
Hmm.
uh, I'm not very regular with my exercise, which I think actually brings my efficiency down to 70 to 80%. I do think for all leaders, including me,
Hmm.
physically fit, being physically fit is now essential. You cannot do without
It's
it.
non-negotiable.
It's not negotiable. It's gone beyond that stage.
Hmm.
I think what helps me is I think I'm very thoughtful about meetings.
About
Meetings.
meetings. Okay.
When I'm meeting somebody, I have mostly thought about how the meeting would go. It's not a. It might appear random,
Hmm.
but a lot of times I know what will be the sequence of. I would have visualized at least any important meeting. I would have visualized in my head,
Hmm.
and I find that a very effective tool in terms of any conversation to influence people.
Did you visualize this conversation?
I won't share that.
Okay. Uh, what sums up Nitin Jain in 3 to 5 words?
I hope a responsible individual
Hmm.
who cares for his family and his people and who hopefully would be remembered for building a seriously world class organization.
You know that. What kind of message would you like to leave for an audience who could be privy to this conversation?
I think you should have fun. You should
Hmm.
have a blast. You should just do what you enjoy and you should enjoy what you do. If it is not exciting enough, you should not do it. And if you are passionate about what you're doing, if you enjoy what you're doing, I think a lot of times success will just automatically happen. It is no rocket science. I just think that it's about being happy and being excited about what you're doing.
And from your own success and failures, what are 1 or 2 learnings that I can borrow?
I've shared whatever I could. I genuinely don't know what else I can say. But I mean, you can pick up from any of the things that we discussed, right? I think
Hmm.
bouncing back from situations, I think, has happened to me.
Yeah.
Having faith in people has always helped me, and I will probably highlight the most that Small things that I've done for some people randomly have come back and helped me so immensely.
In abundance.
In abundance, I can't explain this. Okay, but something I would have done for somebody 10 years back would come to me today. Bizarre set of. And I am an atheist. I don't, or let me say, I'm not a believer. I don't believe in destiny. I don't believe in all of this. But when these things happen in such a fashion, and nature has been so kind to me, I do believe there must be something like karma or something, that what you do, it does affect what will happen to you in the future.
And who would you credit in the organization in terms of things that you would have picked up which worked out for you?
Lots of them. Lots of them, seniors, juniors. I learn every day, and I learn actually a lot from people who work with me. And since this is a forum where you're going to present this to FOIG, I must tell you, I learn every day from Alok. His passion, his intensity is remarkable. I learned from Rashesh. I think his understanding of people is amazing. I've learned from Rujan about people management. I've learned from Deepak all that I know in terms of trading is from Deepak. I learned from my wife how to multitask. So many people.
Yeah. And since this team of FYG is going to have a lot of new inductees, what's the message you want to give in terms of the Edelweiss spirit, the goals, and the mission?
No, I think we are on a journey to build a truly world-class institution. This team, I think, would play a very, very important role. And I'm very confident about this team, about the leadership. And as I said in the beginning, I think you should just have a blast. You should enjoy yourself. You should be passionate about what you're doing. And I think success will happen.
Thank you, Nitin. It's been a very candid, open, freewheeling conversation. If I have troubled you, you have the liberty to ask and question to me. Otherwise, really appreciate your time and effort. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Himanshu. Really appreciate it.